everybody, it's Calxiyn and Hunter here. Remember that if you guys enjoyed this video, you should become patrons over on Patreon and join our Discord server. So, as you guys... yeah, you saw that. I accidentally crumpled something on my desk. Anyway.
And you looked terrified.
I know, I was like, no, the microphone. But if you guys saw, there was a new trailer, or, well, I guess it is new, because it happened today, which was crazy, because I thought I was late.
I thought it happened a day ago.
Like, I thought it happened a couple days ago, but I was just like, oh, wait, no, we're getting the jump on this, like, let's go. No. And so, basically, there is going to be a remake to Calxiyn, which... Actually, if you guys don't know and you're new to the channel, that Hunter and I, that was like the first thing that we kind of like did together, like when we became friends and stuff. So it has like a special place in my heart. The game. Okay,
sure. I was about to say, like, I don't know why we're doing this for a game we've never played, but then I was like, oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was like 2 years ago now, like it was a while ago. Anyway, so I really enjoyed the game, and so I saw today that there's gonna be a remake, and the remake has a third romance option, and
is it really a remake, more of like a remaster?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's a remaster, but they're also like, by the way, we're gonna add a new character, so it's like fresh. You know what I mean? And so there hasn't actually been any confirmation on this that I can find exactly, but people are saying that the new character, well, people are saying a bunch of different things. People are saying that the new character may be trans based off of the fact that Vincent looks at her crotch horrified.
I thought that...
But that's just a thing that Vincent does. And so this is kind of what I wanted to talk about. And so, like, I want to talk about a couple of things. One of the things, though, is that she may not actually be trans. Like, Vincent looks at Calxiyn horrified, too, when they're sleeping together.
That's just how he reacts to nudity.
Yeah.
Really?
And so... I think people are jumping the gun a little bit, especially because you guys, like, may show me that I'm wrong, but I haven't found official confirmation that that is the case. Other than in the trailer, there were, like, the gender symbols on there.
There wasn't a transgender symbol.
No, but there were, like...
Also, I thought they were going to do, like, Calxiyn with a Q.
No,
or
her name is Rin.
Yeah, it name's Rin.
I like
that works.
What did he say? Say it again.
Calxiyn?
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good idea. But yeah, so there isn't actually like hardcore confirmation on this, at least again that I could find. People are just kind of being like, oh, that's why, and are rolling with it. And so, I mean, that's fine. Like, people can think that for now. That's not, like, a crazy assumption. But if you played the game before, he basically screams at everything. So I don't think it's, honestly...
A vagina?!
I know, like, he may just be screaming. And so, I don't think that, like, I don't know. Like, it's kind of, because... Like, when I look at that, I'm like, I can see where people are coming from, so maybe they're right. But let's just go by the assumption that people are right at the moment.
Which is something you don't often do, but
yeah.
Okay.
In assuming that. Like, the current climate is kind of weird, because I think a lot of people are excited, and this is kind of what I want to get into. Like, for the most part, I feel like Erica, because she was also trans in Calxiyn, like, I feel like she was just a really, like, nice character.
Who was
like,
Erica?
Erica was the redhead girl. And she was the waitress at the restaurant.
The one that looked like Wendy?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was supposed to look like Wendy.
And she was transgender?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and so that's, yeah, so if you didn't...
do they go to a gay club? Like...
No.
What the fuck are they?
No, she's just the waitress.
Yeah, alright, cool. I dig it.
Okay, that was weird. Anyways, we didn't get the Calxiyn with a K ending, though. That's the only way that you find out for sure.
Well, do you have to, like, go into, like, the data book for
No.
Calxiyn, or did she have a throwaway line, like, by the way...
No. So... Basically, if you get the Calxiyn with the K ending, they explain that back in school, Erica was Eric. So that's kind of one of the other Orlandos says that. But there are a couple other hints, like, during the stretch of the game. So, like, Erica says that she wants to join an all-girls wrestling team, and Vincent's like, I don't think that you can do that. And Erica's like, well, what? I'm strong. And then Vincent's like, that's not exactly what I mean. And then Vince, I know, isn't that
fucking
sad?
Vincent.
I know. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about. And so then Vincent...
I'm glad you got, like, assaulted in your sleep.
Then Vincent, like, there's something else. She tells Vincent he needs to learn how a girl's heart works and how a woman is always hoping someone will come and sweep them away, but then Vincent is like, I'd be more convinced if it was an actual woman telling me this. And I'm like, well, Vincent, you're just a fucking asshole, aren't you? So this is basically what we're talking about.
I don't remember. God, I used to kind of feel sort of bad for the fuck up.
Here's the thing, like, obviously those are bad things for Vincent to say, and he shouldn't be saying that.
Well, I don't think Vincent is meant to be a particularly,
I was just
good
gonna
character.
say that. Like, he's supposed to be sort of an asshole and a fuck
Yeah.
up, you know what I mean? And so, like...
Or me, I always thought that he was just sort of a fuck up. I didn't realize that he was also an asshole.
He was a little asshole-y sometimes.
I mean,
like,
he did
was cheating on his fiancée.
Yeah, I guess I did, like, skip over the main crux of that whole game, the fact that, yeah, he does cheat quite a bit.
And so, like, I feel like that's in character for him. So here, like, I guess, I don't want to say the pros and cons, but people, like, praise the game because Erica's just, like, she's very sweet and caring, and, like, she really, you know, cares about all the boys and stuff. And, like, she's just, like, a nice character, you know? She's just a nice person. And I think a lot of people appreciate that. And she passes. That was the word that was used in the article that I was reading earlier. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people were happy about that, and just happy that, like, she's pretty good in terms of representation, you know? Like, she's not vilified or a shitty person, you know what I mean?
She's
like
Wendy's.
You see sometimes, like, she's just a nice girl,
love
you know
Wendy?
what I mean? But, like, on the con side, something people had a problem with was in the end credits of the game, she was listed as Eric in the credits, which is kind of weird. And I am not sure why they would do that, because, like, she was called Erica pretty much the entire time.
It's Japan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so
that's just the world.
I see that, and I'm like, okay, so maybe, like, that was a miscommunication error on the part of the team. I'm not trying to excuse them. They could have done that on purpose. But, like, I can assume that it's not really a big deal when you look at least not to me, when you look at the game in the rest of the scope, if that makes sense. Like, when you look at how the game represented her in-game, I feel like the credits don't really matter. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, of course we should criticize them for that, and I hope that they wouldn't do that this time. But I feel like at the same time, we have to kind of look at how the character was portrayed in the context of the actual game and not outside of the game. Because another problem people would have is in some sort of guidebook, people were also calling her Eric. But usually guidebooks aren't produced by the developers or the company that's making the game. I don't know the specific case for this one because I couldn't find more information about it, but usually guidebooks are like, I don't want to say they're randos, but usually they're like game journalists.
Or sometimes it's just
something like that.
Sometimes they're entirely like
basically separate from,
yeah,
like they have
they're
permission.
independently made. Or sometimes they're unofficial ones. Like there was an unofficial Final Fantasy VII one.
And so, like, for example,
like
there's
published.
a new Kingdom Hearts 2 boss battle book.
Yeah.
But that's obviously, like, that's not Square Enix or anything. That's just a game journalist who published her own book. Mm-hmm. Like, they're allowed to do, like, that's within fair use and blah, 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 blah. So, I feel like that's not really on the fault of the game devs, if that happened. But the credits definitely is, and with the credits, I'm like, that's a little sketchy. But, like, in terms of how, like, she was represented, like, I feel like that's pretty good. Like, she wasn't vilified, and that's a problem that a lot of trans character have.
So
what
would Ren essentially be? Because the whole thing, it was a dynamic.
Well, that's what I also wanted to talk about in
boring,
this video.
Boring but safe with Catherine with a K and Catherine with a C was dangerous, but exciting.
So
then,
like,
what the fuck would you are the most neutral man in the world?
No.
You get the woman with the penis.
No.
Is that? What
and that's the other thing is that. Like, a lot of people are like, please give me a trap, and I'm just like, no, stop. Like, just take a seat. Like, we don't need you here. Because those are the kind of people that I have a problem with. Because, like, listen, I don't want to know your fetishes. I really don't. Like, I just don't, okay? But if she's actually trans, then you can't call her a trap. Like, those should be two different things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, like, people are being trash right now.
I thought
that's all that I want to say. Like, on Twitter, people are being trash. And that's kind of why I made this video, because I was sort of a little angry. Because I understand that, like, there's futas and there's stuff like that. And, like, you know, you do you, that's fine. But don't reduce actual trans people to being that, because that
Well, she's also a fictional trans. Anyway,
I know, but you know what I mean.
I genuinely thought that I didn't realize that Ren was a new character. I thought that they just changed the design of Catherine with a C. Because she's like, she has short hair. Basically, all women with short hair look the same.
Thanks.
Yeah.
For that.
You're welcome.
I have short hair if you guys have never seen me before. And so, yeah. So here's what I was thinking, actually. and why he could be screaming at her crotch. Okay, are you ready?
A vagina! Like,
okay,
other
no,
than
no.
the other.
Okay, so here's what I think is gonna happen, and this is actually how I think the original game should have been, to be honest. Is that I think that Catherine with a K is the middle ground. Like, I think that she is... Because this is all supposed to be sort of about Vincent maturing in some way or another. It's him either accepting that he wants a dangerous bad boy lifestyle, which is fine, or it's him deciding that he wants to grow up. It's about him maturing in two different directions, you could say. Right? And being a demon king, sort of, but it's fine. And so, here's kind of what I think, is that you had a good meter and then a bad meter, and it, like, I feel like that Catherine should have been the middle route. Catherine shouldn't have been the all-the-way good option. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And so Catherine should be the middle. Catherine should be, like, the mortal route, if you want to call it that. If you're going all the way bad, that was obviously Catherine with a C, you know? And so I feel like Rin should be some sort of angel to counteract Catherine with a C being a demon. Does that make sense? Because you have two options. Rin will either be the middle path that I just talked about, or she'll be the quote-unquote good path. You know what I mean? And because her name is Rin, I'm starting to get the impression that she will be the middle. But to be honest, I feel like that should be Catherine, because, like, the K Catherine, because that just makes more sense in the context of, like, angels and demons, you know, the good and the bad. But if they do make Rin the middle path, I think that will be equally as interesting, because you have Vincent, like, settling down and getting married on one side, or him letting loose on the other. So what is the middle ground to that?
All I know, my biggest problem is how the fuck does he manage to cheat with his girlfriend on two separate people at the same time? Like, that's a juggling. Like, why do you, like, this guy clearly doesn't have commitment issues. He's able to commit to that so easily.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But that's what I'm saying. So what do you think? Like, do you think that there is going to be, like, that Rin is going to be the middle path, but what do you think that middle path
I feel like maybe less middle path, and maybe she's more like, she is like an absolute, I don't know, because it's like...
Because it's weird, because I would want her to be on the angel side. Like, I would want her to be angelic, because that's how I think the game should have been played in the first place. You have an angel, you have a regular person, and then you have a demon. And I don't know if that's too, like, direct in terms of, like, symbolism or whatever, but now that they're adding
I think it was less about demon and regular person, more about frumpy and, like, safe but boring, and then exciting but not safe.
Oh, yeah, I understand that.
So with that,
but
where would she be?
How they introduce the succubus element, I'm saying. Like, if they didn't introduce the succubus element...
Is she safe and exciting?
For it.
So it's, like, dangerous
and exciting.
Dangerous, exciting, safe, boring, and then safe and exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe that?
Maybe.
Or maybe she's double dangerous, who knows?
Because, like, again, we talked about this, but, like, Catherine with a K is, like, Vincent trying to mature into adulthood. To an extent, I think.
Accepting boring people.
And then, with Catherine, he's sort of accepting adulthood in a new way by counteracting, like, what society says that you should do as an adult. And so that's where I'm like, well, what would Rin be? Because I think that they should rearrange it, honestly. Like, I think they should have Catherine be the middle ground.
They may change the entire thing.
Yeah.
Because they're adding a whole new character. I think they're fine with switching it up for a remake.
And so, I think Catherine should definitely be the middle. But the thing is, you have Cath, and then you have the other Cath, and then you have Rin. And so that implies that that is the middle to me. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just because you have the two full names, and then you have sort of, like, half a name. You know what I mean? And so, that's why I see her being, like, the middle ground now. But in terms of middle ground, like, I guess what it would be is because Catherine with a K wants commitment, right? Like, she wants, like, hardcore commitment off of Vincent. But other Catherine doesn't. Not really. You know what I mean? Or at least it's a bit... The commitment that he makes at the end of the game when he's like, sure, I'll be a demon for you, babe. Like, that is a different... That's a whole other... That's a whole other thing. So maybe what Rin will be is that... Yes, she wants some commitment from Vincent, but she's also not gonna be a stick in the mud about it. Like, she may be the sort of, like, live your dreams, Vincent sort of character, but, like, at the end of the day, I still want to be with you. You know what I mean? Or whatever she sounds like. You understand what I mean?
Okay.
Because Catherine with a K is like, Vincent, if you can't get your act together, I'm leaving you. And then other Catherine is like, hey, Vincent, if you don't break up with your whore girlfriend, I'm leaving you. You know what I mean? And so maybe Rin will be the good middle where she's just like, I just want you to be happy, Vincent. Like, whatever that is, like, we can be happy together. You know what I mean? And so, I don't know. That's just what I think for now. But remember, we don't have a lot of information about it yet. And so this is more like a speculation video. Just us talking about, I wanted to talk about people being shitty more, because that's just kind of what I want to talk about in all my videos, but I feel like we covered everything pretty well, don't you? Because, like, here's the thing is, at the end of the day, like, if the game is wonderful, but the fan base is shitty, you could ignore the fan base. If the game is shitty, but the fan base is wonderful, you can't really ignore that, you know what I mean? Like, if the game is absolute trash. And so I feel like that no matter what happens with the fan in regards to the fans, if the game is good, I'll still enjoy the game. Like, I'm not gonna let the fans ruin that for me, and I hope that, like, game journalists don't let the reaction of some creepy middle-aged fan, I'm just assuming, you know, ruin the game for them, for the people reporting. Because I think that it needs to exist in a thing of itself instead of letting the fans dictate that. And so a good example, if you guys have been with us for a while, is like Ruby, right? Ruby introduced a new gay character, or a female character that's into women, right? And so even if like, no matter what the fans' reaction to it, whether it's good or whether it's bad, it isn't about the fans. Like, the show exists on its own plane of existence, per se. And no matter what the fans say, the show still holds up on its own, in terms of the representation, like how well made the character was, all of that stuff. And so no matter how the fans react to it, like, if the fans are cringy, just ignore them. Like, just ignore them. It's okay. Like, don't let it ruin your enjoyment of the game. And if you are a cringy fan, like, you can enjoy it too. Like, it's fine, because I won't pay attention to what you have to say. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we can all sort of coexist and enjoy things here, but I feel like game journalists need to ignore the fans to an extent too, so they can review the game unbiasedly, because I don't think that it's the developer's fault if the fans are transphobic, or if the fans are being cringy, for lack of a better word. You understand what I mean, Hunter? Yeah. And so that's just kind of the message that I would like, sort of to leave off for today. Because I think no matter what the fans do, you should just enjoy it. And even if you are one of those, like, questionable people, you should still enjoy the game too. Like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. But I think that we can agree, whether you're, like, on, I don't want to say on either side, but whether you're kind of one of those cringy people I was talking about earlier, or whether you're not, like, I think that we can all agree that the game should be judged on itself and not by any fan, like any of the fans whatsoever, even if there is an outcry or an outpouring, I should say, of support or not. And so I feel like it should get a fair chance, is kind of what I'm trying to say. Because I know that people are already being like, well, like, judging by the fans on Twitter. Like, no, like, don't judge by the fans on Twitter. Wait until the game comes out and see what the game does. If the game is amazing and great, just say that it's that. It doesn't matter what the fans are saying about it. And at the end of the day, if the fans have so much of a problem with them representing the LGBT community, they'll just leave anyway. And so it's up to YouTubers and game journals to kind of report on this without paying too much attention to that. Because if those fans hear that it's done well, it will drive the fans that you want to drive out of the community. And I know that sounds kind of mean, but, like, you know, that's kind of the goal that Hunter and I have with Ruby sometimes, is driving out all of the homophobes from our comment section, you know what I mean? And so that's basically it. That's basically all I wanted to say. Hunter, you've been pretty quiet. You've just been letting me go. You've just been letting me go. So, do you have anything else that you want to kind of add to that, or
No,
what?
you essentially have done fairly well with...
That's good.
I'm surprised you wanted to do this video, if I'm
Really?
entirely... Yes, well, I mean, not for the I didn't realize you liked the game so much.
I do! I really enjoyed it. Like, I think it has enough stuff to dissect that it's very interesting, but at the same time, it's not throwing it in your face. Like, it's not saying, like, pay attention to the symbolism. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's up to you to kind of interpret what's going on, and up to you to make choices, and up to you... It's basically just up to you. And I feel like, because Vincent is sort of a shitty character, that makes it better in a way, right? Because you can either make him stay shitty and get bad endings, or make him become good in whatever route that he chooses. It's that picking Calxiyn with a C doesn't automatically make you shitty. You can be shitty on either side. You know what I mean? And I think that's really good. I think that's really good with Vincent. Like, that's a good addition, is that it's not demonizing either route of life. It's just saying that in whatever route you choose, you can still be good. You can still get a good ending.
I think it is demonizing, because he will still get eaten by the, succubus, but I digress.
Well, no, you can become the demon king or whatever, and have your fun in the demon world and surrounded by women. That's what happens to him in the Calxiyn ending.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's that he kind of takes over her father, I think. And now he's the demon king, and he just has all of these women in chains around him, like in the demon world. Like, it's pretty. He has a harem now. Like,
you seem really like that's your end goal to be a harem.
It makes me pretty happy. Not gonna lie. Anyway, I think that we're pretty much done here, guys. If you enjoyed this video, remember to pledge on Patreon or join our Discord server. I would like to make more content like this about games, because I do like games. And to be honest, on like our 40th video about Ruby, this year, I'm getting a bit depressed.
You're a fucking liar. It's been way more than 40.
Okay, but you understand what I mean? Like, I'm a little like tired. And so it's nice that we can make videos about other topics, and obviously you guys know that Hunter and I are like gay AF, as the kids say. And also just to point out, like, when we use gay, we don't mean like lesbian in my case. We just mean queer. People don't understand our Canadian slang, Hunter. Like, how many people I've had to explain that to?
Canadian.
That's just me? Is that just me? Okay.
It's not like double. That's not a Canadian. Okay.
Because that's how I use it. I don't know.
Just end the video.
Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed. We should make new slang, though.
Oh, Christ.
Like double. Similarly, well, now,
gay,
see,
gay?
Calxiyn is a triple.
Gay.
No, Calxiyn's a triple now. It's not a double, you see.
So it could either be, that's
it has
3, so instead of 3 creams and 3 sugars, it's a threesome with a succubus and a transgender woman.
Yes.
All right.
There you go. That was a good way to end. Bye.